Welcome to Think Future TV. I'm your host, Chris Kalabukas, and once again we're coming at you live from deep, deep, deep in the heart of Silicon Valley, California, the innovation capital of the world. We're talking innovation, startups, the future, not necessarily those, and not necessarily in that order. Internet's a wonderful thing, isn't it? It's an absolutely, amazingly wonderful thing. Because you know what? With the internet, and with all of these professional and amateur researchers out there on the internet, you can't lie anymore. You can't cheat anymore. You can't get away with it anymore. Honesty is not only the best policy, it's the only policy. Notice the news, the VW scandal. If you've been under a rock, you've heard, if you haven't heard, that VW actually wrote software to game the test. So they weren't actually being more fuel efficient, they weren't actually being more environmentally friendly. They were just gaming the test. They were writing specific software that could tell that it was being tested, and when it could tell that it was being tested, it actually did better. So they cheated. And for some reason they thought they weren't going to be found out. Ha! Enter the internet, enter a bunch of researchers in the University of Virginia, bam, they found you out, dude. Theranos, in the news just a little while ago, about how their blood testing, that everyone thought it was such a fantastic thing, the way they did it, turns out that wasn't real either. And people are saying, oh, it's because of the pressures of Silicon Valley, the pressures of investors, the pressures of this, the pressures of that. You know what? Look at Twitter. Okay, Jack Dorsey just went back to Twitter. He's the new CEO there again. He came back, and he just wrote a memo saying that they're going to have to lay off about 8% of their workforce. Read that note. See how honest he is in that note. He doesn't sugarcoat anything. He doesn't BS anything. He's honest. He just tells the truth. And you got to understand, times are very different. People used to be able to get away with things. I mean, even, do you remember the Bush National Guard scandal, where there was all this thing about President Bush somehow getting out of the National Guard for some reason, but apparently it was all made up, and then amateur internet researchers found out that it was all made up? You see, nowadays you can't run. You can't hide. You can't make stuff up and say that you did it. You can't make stuff up and put it on your website and say, I did this, I did that. You can't make stuff up and say, oh, we've done this and we've done that, and it's all a lie. You can't make things up anymore because you will be found out. Gone are the days when you can just hide behind these things and assume that no one's going to figure it out. So what do? Let's try something new. Let's try something different. Let's try something that's never been tried before. Honesty. Why don't we tell people exactly what we can and cannot do for them? Why don't we, instead of, having the urge on a conference call with a potential client, say that, oh yeah, we can do exactly what you ask for, even though you know you can't. Instead of saying that, why don't you say, no, I'm sorry, we can't do that. That's not part of our skill set, but we can help you find someone else to do it. Do you lie on your resume? Remember Scott Thompson, how he got found out? One of the many revolving door CEOs at Yahoo? This is what I'm saying, folks, is that we have to be honest now. We have to be authentic now. You cannot get away with lying to anyone about anything anymore because you will be found out. You have millions of amateur researchers out there who can blow holes in your story, can figure it out if you try to lie. So instead, try honesty. See how well it works. If you ask me, it'll probably be the best thing because you'll never have to worry about being found out because you're always being honest. That's it for me for today. See you next time, and until then, don't forget to think future.